Well, Cuphead and his pal Mugman.
It's been a while since my last Cuphead lore video, but this one felt necessary, especially after a commenter specifically asked for it. And with a brand new Cuphead game recently announced, it felt like the perfect time to revisit the original characters and finally address a question the series has avoided for years. Today we're taking a look at one of the biggest mysteries in the entire Cuphead universe. Who are Cuphead and Mugman's parents? In both the game and the Netflix series, their parents are never mentioned. Elder Kettle clearly acts as a caretaker, but nothing about him suggests he's their biological father. For the longest time, this topic seemed impossible to explore because we were missing too many pieces. Until now. So before we dive into the deeper theories, let's start with the information the games and the Netflix show actually give us. Elder Kettle is a veteran with no known family. We see his war memorabilia in his house, but what's really strange is that we don't see a single photo of him alongside any family members. The artists absolutely could have added family photos to make Elder Kettle's home feel warmer or more lived in, but they didn't. There are three main reasons they might omit something like that. Elder Kettle simply didn't have a family, which feels unlikely. He did have a family, but he's hiding them. Or, and this one makes the most sense once we gather all the information, Elder Kettle is ashamed of his family. And that's where things start to get interesting. In Rugged Ridge, we see the infamous statue of King Kettle, who bears a striking resemblance to Elder Kettle. His statue doesn't look like a king leading a kingdom. It looks like someone who lived a quieter life. Someone who belonged in a home, not a throne room. We also see several other statues of dishware, including the statue of the legendary chalice, as discussed in other videos. This suggests that Cuphead and Mugman might come from a lineage of royalty, a family that once ruled the Inkwell Isles long before the events of the game. But what does that tell us about Cuphead and Mugman's parents? Well, this is where things get weird. In 1934, the Motion Picture Producers and Distributors of America, or MPPDA, set industry guidelines known as the Hays Code. These rules determined what was allowed in film entertainment, and the 1930s were a very different time. Things like profanity, sedition, and even certain types of relationships were considered too inappropriate to show. Cuphead's entire aesthetic is based on this era, so if the creators wanted to reference something that wouldn't have been allowed on screen in the 1930s, they'd have to hide it. And that's exactly what we see in the Cuphead universe. In Season 1, Episode 8 of the Netflix show, we learn that the devil has entire departments dedicated to monitoring sin, including war. We see him trick people, manipulate them, and steal their souls. So what if Elder Kettle is hiding his family, and Cuphead and Mugman never talk about their parents, because the devil would come for them? And then we get the final piece of the puzzle. This might all seem like a stretch, until you see this. Why is this in Elder Kettle's house at all? There are no women living there, there are no female characters associated with the cottage, and this dress doesn't match anyone from the games or the show. So if it doesn't belong to Cuphead, and it doesn't belong to Mugman, and it doesn't belong to Elder Kettle, then who did it belong to? And that's when everything suddenly clicks. The missing family photos, the secrecy, the shame, the Hays Code restrictions, the devil monitoring sin like it's a full-time job, the fact that Elder Kettle never talks about the boy's parents. It all points to one conclusion. Cuphead and Mugman's parents weren't erased because of tragedy. They were erased because of censorship. The Cuphead universe takes place in a world inspired by 1930s media, and in the 1930s, you couldn't show certain things. You couldn't show certain relationships. You couldn't show certain families. So who were Cuphead and Mugman's parents? Well, the answer was in front of us the whole time. Elder Kettle is Cuphead and Mugman's real father. This statue isn't Elder Kettle. It's Elder Kettle's husband. and Elder Kettle has been hiding the truth. Cuphead and Mugman's parents weren't forgotten, ignored, or written out. They were censored out. Their family didn't fit the rules of the era the Cuphead universe is based on, so the creators hid them in plain sight. The ancient Kettle Kingdom may be gone, but its last two heirs are still there, and Elder Kettle's husband has been watching over them this whole time.